Welcome back to Golf WX's Winning What's in the Bag, where this week we're taking a look at Rory McIlroy's Winning What's in the Bag from the 2025 Players Championship. Unfortunately, weather pushed it till Monday to finish today, this morning. So at 9 a.m., him and JJ Spawn went out and played. Rory with the 3-hole aggregate win. So congratulations to him. Big win. JJ made a great run at it, but Rory with a big win going into this year. So we'll start at the top of the bag like we always do. As you know, Rory is a TaylorMade staff player, so everything in his bag is TaylorMade at the moment. And we'll start at the top. And driver is going to be the TaylorMade Qi10. Yes, he actually dabbled with the Qi35 a few weeks ago, but back into the Qi10 where he feels comfortable. I know a lot of people are looking into this and making assumptions about the Qi35 not being a good driver or whatever you want to say. These tour guys, it takes a lot to dial in a driver. And when you're driving as well and playing as well as Rory is, why do you switch? So playing the Qi10, the one he's familiar with, and this is, of course, the dot head, the one we talk about, the prototype that is built for tour players only. Looks exactly like a Qi10, but it fits a spin profile that's in between the retail Qi10 and the Qi10 LS. So in between those two, some players found the Qi10 would just spun too much, and players like Rory didn't need the absolute low spin of the Qi10 LS. So TaylorMade came up with a head that is in between. And if you look on the hosel of the driver, you'll see the 9-degree little marking there. And to the upper right, there is a little degree sign, but it's actually meaning a dot head. So that specifies it there. I've heard it's a little more neutral flight bias as well. That I don't know for sure, but it is definitely lower spinning than the retail Qi10. So his is a 9-degree head. It is playing at 8.25 degrees, and it is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Black. Now, this is the 2019 model Ventus Black. In the Qi35 he was testing, he did have the new 2024 with Velo Core Plus, but this is back to the old original. This is the 2019 Ventus Black 6X, and it is 65 grams, 3.1 degrees of torque, low launch, low spin, really popular shaft played by a lot of players on tour. It is a 45-inch playing length, and that shaft is tipped 1 degree. Now moving to his fairway woods, he's got two, and the first one is a TaylorMade Qi10 3-wood, the 15-degree head. This is the standard model with the bonded hosel, not the adjustable tour one. And again, probably moved into for the bonded hosel version, was a little higher launching, spun a little bit more, and it was actually pretty darn forgiving. And I know forgiveness isn't necessarily a huge trait on tour, but I think those guys will take a little bit when they do slightly miss it off the center. This one here is shafted up with, again, a 2019 version of the Fujikura Ventus Black. This is the 8X version, so coming in at 85 grams and 2.8 degrees of torque. Again, low launch, low spin, very stout profile on that shaft. His next fairway wood is going to be the TaylorMade Qi10, again, but it's a 5-wood. So this is the 5-wood, 18-degree head, again, bonded hosel, all that. This is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus Black 9X, again, 2019 model, and coming in at 95 grams, 3.1 degrees of torque. And this one here has an ultra stiff handle section, a stiff midsection, and an ultra stiff tip section. So very stiff overall profile, very low launch, very low spin. Still has a good feel to it though, and still fairly smooth. Now moving to his irons, and this one here, a lot of people, if you look at what's in the bags, have it incorrect right now. A lot of people are saying he's playing his old P760. It doesn't look like it. When I went on, you went around searching Google, searching Getty, looking at images, and even watching the tournament, he is actually playing the TaylorMade P770 prototype. So a few weeks or months or whatever ago, he actually had a pre-production P770 as a long iron and built up. Now we have a picture of it, and it's going to be up here on YouTube. I don't know exactly what the iron head is on there. If it's a 3, if it's a 2, it's a 4. It's kind of slotted in the 4 position for him based off his iron play, but it is a P770 Proto. So this is the hollow body, thin face, a little bit more speed than probably the 760, foam filled, and probably a little slightly larger overall than the P760 is usually playing. The big tell too, you look at shaft. The P760 that he usually plays has a Project X steel shaft in it. This P770 Proto has a Project X HZRDUS Gen 4 black hybrid shaft in it. Now, we don't know exactly what the weight, flex, all that is. I'm going to assume it's probably the 105 TX that they made in that shaft. They've now replaced it with the Gen 5, but when they made the Gen 4, they made a 105-gram TX version, and I'm going to assume that's probably what's in there, but there could be a prototype or something slightly different for him. If it is the 105 TX, Comes in at 105 grams, 1.9 degrees of torque, and it's kind of a low mid, low launch shaft. So definitely not like crazy, crazy low like the HZRDUS green. It's got a little more flight than that, but low mid launch, low spin on that one. For his irons, he's playing his, of course, TaylorMade Rors Protos that he's been playing forever. These blades are based off the P730s. He's playing 5 through 9 iron in this set. Now, this one's interesting because I think it's got a slightly shorter blade length than, say, the P7Ws that they make. Those have a little stretched out from heel to toe. These are a little bit more compact. They also don't have a milled sole on them. They're a pretty traditional sole. But they were basically based off the P730 blades and built for Rory with just some slight modifications. Now, these ones here are shafted up with Project X 7.0 steel shafts. These are 130 grams, extremely stiff, and they're very low spin. They're kind of labeled as low launch, low spin. I personally think they have kind of a little higher initial launch, but they have a very flat apex, very flat trajectory, very low spin, and are very stable for big hitters and fast swing speeds like Rory brings. Now moving to his wedges, and his wedges are all TaylorMade mill grind 4s or TaylorMade MG4s, however you want to label them. They're all in the raw finish. All have a nice little patina rust to them. I love a raw finish wedge. And the first one he plays is a pitching wedge replacement, which is a 4609 SB. So the SB sole is kind of the standard bounce, standard width, really traditional, 9 degrees of bounce. It's going to play really well on full shots and shots where you're playing that wedge square to the target. His gap wedge then is going to be a 50.09 SB. So pretty traditional there. I mean, if he's playing a slightly stronger, pitching wedge at 46 or maybe 45 degrees, the 50.09, again, 9 degrees of bounce, SB sole, a little bit wider, full sole, great to kind of prevent digging on those full shots. As you see, those guys usually take fairly, heavy divots with wedges as they're trying to promote a lot of spin, but something there that's going to help get through the turf rather quickly. Sand wedge is going to be a 54.11 SB, so 11 degrees of bounce, a little more bounce on this. SB sole though, so it's still going to be kind of wide. When you open it up, a player like Rory, the leading edge may come off the ground slightly, but Rory can play around that with no problem. But 11 degrees of bounce is going to offer a little more float in the sand. Again, prevent some of that digging as you get into the turf. And 54 degrees is just a slightly stronger pitching wedge, but matches up with the gap wedge and pitching wedge that he has in the set. Now his lob wedge, before we get into lob wedge, his iron or shafts for his wedges are going to be Project X 6.5. So these are 125 gram shafts, a little bit softer than his iron shafts, and that makes sense as you're not probably taking as an aggressive swing with the wedges, taking a lot of partial shots. So something a little bit softer, offering a little bit more feel, could be just better in the hands. Now moving to his lob wedge, and his lob wedge is a 60.08 LB. So this is the 68 degree bounce, low bounce lob wedge. It's got a little bit of toe, trailing edge, and heel relief, so you can open that thing up without the leading edge coming off the ground too far. Very versatile wedge, can play a lot of different shots with it, and it is shafted up with a Project X 6.5 wedge shaft. So this is a wedge-specific shaft that Project X came out with a little while ago, and you basically play the same flex, and it's a little softer. So if Rory's playing a 6.5 in wedges, he'll play a 6.5 in the wedge shaft. A little bit softer, again, offers a little bit more feel, a little more touch around the greens, but you're not losing that 5 grams of weight by moving down to a flex, so it's still coming in at 125 grams. It's just basically a softer to flex shaft at the same weight. Now, putter, he's playing the, of course, TaylorMade Spider Tour X that he's been playing for a long time. This is the X3 or slant neck model, so it's got a little slant neck. It promotes a little bit more toe hang, so that toe will kind of like droop down when you hold the putter, unrestricted or lay it on a table. That will kind of slow it down. And that basically a toe hang adds for, any type of arc in the stroke, and it kind of helps get that face a little bit more square at impact. It's got a beautiful torch finish on it. This is something newer. I think it came in right around the Tour Championship. He had it or got it in the bag. But a nice torch finish, kind of has some blues, some purples, and browns in with that color. It's got no true path alignment. So you look down the top, there's usually that big, thick white line on the spiders. It doesn't have any of that. It's just a single white line on the top for alignment. It's got the true roll insert in there. So the TPU version of the true roll, 45-degree horizontal grooves, put a better forward roll on the ball, reduces some of that hopping and skipping that a ball kind of has right at impact. This one here is shafted up with it's just got a black steel shaft. It's probably the KBS shaft that looks to be in all the stock putters. And he's got a SuperStroke Zenergy Pistol Tour grip on it. So this is a white and black grip. It is the smallest version of the Pistol series from SuperStroke. For ball, he actually just switched to the TP5, the TaylorMade TP5. He switched a few weeks ago. This is a little bit higher spinning, a little bit higher flight than TP5X. It's also got a little bit softer feel around it, but he switched just a little while ago and won with it. But a great ball there. I like the TP5 or the TP5X personally. The rest of the grips on his clubs are going to be Golf Pride MCCs in white and black. This is a very popular grip. Again, firmer rubber up in the top of the upper hand with a cord to it for stability and grip. And then the lower hand is a white rubber that's a little bit softer for added feel in the lower hand. So that is Rory's what's in the bag for his win at the 2025 Players Championship. Congratulations to him. Big win. It's always cool to, see who wins the 5th major. But again, congratulations to Rory on the big win. And check back next week when we'll dive into another Winners What's in the Bag.